I'm James Mathers for the Digital Cinema Society. We're at the first annual DCS Cine Lens Day. The next session is going to be covering the importance of lens metadata. And we have David Warner from ZEISS joining us today. David, it might not be the most sexy topic artistically, but it's so important. Tell me about lens metadata and why it matters.
Well, lens metadata is super important in connecting the information you have on set to your post team, and always has been. ZEISS has always had an eye on lens metadata since our days with ARRI, back with LDS, into what we currently do with Cook/I, turning that into extended data, which is our particular flavor of metadata for our primes. And now we're showing off our first zoom that has extended data, the Supreme Zoom Radiance. I think it's gaining even more importance going forward with the virtual production that we're doing now, VFX having more shots per film year over year. And it's exciting the way that metadata is becoming a little sexier these days, where you get to start to make artistic choices based off your metadata and use your metadata for artistic things. One great example, for instance, is Steve Yedlin talked to us about using the Supreme primes, and he loved that they had so little distortion, but they also fed him metadata with which he could actually dial in specific distortion that he wanted. Like, applications like that are super interesting to us, because before it was just like, oh, everybody gets to know what lens is on the camera, what focal length, where the focus and iris is set, but now we can tell you dynamically how much distortion is being added to your image from center to edge, how much exposure you're losing from center to edge, which is really great for compositors and like for manipulating a frustrum in virtual production and all that stuff.
Well, you design lots of lenses, so you have all the mapping information of those. What about lenses that aren't ZEISS lenses? How do you handle that?
So for us, all the way we interact with third-party lenses would be for our virtual production and camera tracking suite. We have templates that we build out for people to use so that they at least have a very good starting point for that they can manually tweak from there. And actually, a few days ago, we introduced complete manual calibration for our virtual production camera tracking system. So we have wizards and tutorials throughout the system that will teach you and guide you through calibrating third-party lenses that we don't necessarily have data on.
Well, in the old days, I remember when I would do a VFX film, we'd have to shoot all these charts, to get the characters of the lenses so they could be taken out and then put back in post when they're compositing, and you do that all automatically now.
Yeah, so for our lenses, we have two different workflows where you can get dedicated distortion and shading data without having to shoot charts. The first of which is a post software called SynCraft Mapper. What SynCraft Mapper does is it takes the lens metadata, it creates the distortion and shading maps that you would otherwise use in programs like Nuke, automatically based off the virtual lens profile of that lens, whereas otherwise you would have to shoot the chart and then use plugins or manual inputs to get those maps. We give them to you faithfully on a frame-by-frame basis. And then for our virtual production camera tracking system, the lenses are auto-calibrated to the system. All of the virtual lens profiles are built in, and you can buy them sort of a la carte as virtual lens packages. For instance, there's a Supreme pack where you get the lens data for all the Supremes, and you can use that with your virtual production camera tracking system. No need to shoot any charts or calibrate any lenses in the way that people are used to for virtual production. You just skip that completely.
Oh, that's going to save a lot of time. And also in virtual production, like if I'm shooting the background and I change focus, the background's going to change focus because you're feeding that data into the compositing computer.
Yes. So we for a long time, we've had plugins in Unreal, for instance, where it will pipe the metadata straight into Unreal, and Unreal can read that metadata and react to it. So now we've expanded on that as well.
So zoom, focus, whatever, huh?
Yeah, exactly. hopefully in the very near future, anamorphics as well. Right now, we've got primes and zooms down. We're working on anamorphics for the near future.
That gets a lot more complicated, I'm sure.
Absolutely, hence the delay.
Anything else you want to add, David?
Come visit the ZEISS showroom if ever you want to learn more about metadata. I'm there 5 days a week, sometimes 6.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.